this video. Today I am going to be doing a whispered ramble video, which is one of my favorite kinds of videos to record. And I am even more excited because I'm going to be rambling about my love story, I guess, my relationship with my husband, because today, the day that this video is going live, is our 3-year wedding anniversary, which is crazy to even say. I can't believe that it's already been 3 years, but it's been a wonderful, fantastic 3 years. So I just thought that it could be fun to ramble about how we met and how he proposed, and then just kind of our wedding and a few details about the last 3 years, a few highlights of our marriage. Before I get into that, I have 2 things that I wanted to mention. The sun is currently going down behind you guys where my window is, so if this video gets darker and darker throughout, then I hope that it is relaxing and just helps you guys fall asleep. And then the second thing I wanted to talk about is my lack of a microphone. I actually tried to record this video a few days ago, and the cord to my Blue Yeti microphone broke. So for the next few videos, I will not have my Blue Yeti. Actually, that's not true. I have one pre-recorded video. I'm not sure when I'm going to post that video, but I do have one more video with the Blue Yeti microphone, and until I can repurchase a new cord, I will just be doing lo-fi videos using my iPhone microphone, which I do that a lot anyway, and before I got my Blue Yeti, I did that all the time. So hopefully you guys still enjoy it. I will still be putting out content, and there shouldn't be a pause in my uploading. It just won't be Blue Yeti content. It will be lo-fi iPhone microphone content. So hopefully you guys still enjoy it. I personally love videos like that, so I just wanted to let you guys know what's going on. Hopefully I can get a new cord soon and you guys won't even notice, but I wanted to be transparent with you guys. So now I'm going to jump into talking about my relationship with my husband. So we met about 5 years ago now. I believe the exact date was either October 28th or October 29th of 2020. My husband and I met at the church that we used to go to. We no longer go there, not for any bad reasons. We just wanted a church that kind of dives more into the Bible versus the one that we were going to was a little bit more for like new Christians, in my opinion, and wasn't quite enough new learning for my husband and I, so we just wanted something a little more, but that's not important to the story. So we both were on that church's worship team. We both sang, and we met while doing a youth worship event. They would do weekly youth meetings, but then once a month they would combine all of the churches. We had multiple church campuses, and once a month the youth group would combine at one campus and do a big event where there would be a worship set, and then there would be a sermon, and then there would be like games and events afterwards. So at that time, my husband and I attended different church campuses, so we had never met before. And when we were both on the worship team for this youth event, that is where we met. And remember pretty vividly. I remember we were all backstage in the green room waiting for the event to begin, and my husband was going around and like fist bumping or high-fiving everyone that was back there. My husband is always very charismatic and charming when you first meet him. So I think he gave me a fist bump and like introduced himself, and I really truly thought nothing of it. So we went out and we sang, and the worship set was over. But then, actually, let me say that the worship team this night, it was 2 students and then 2 people who were on the staff at the church that we were attending, and then me and my husband. So there were 6 of us. So once the whole worship set was over, the 2 people on staff, they were able to go home. Their night was over, so they went home, and then the students went out and sat with all of the other students. So it was just me and my husband left, and I guess we got to talking because neither of us really knew what to do. We didn't know if we were able to leave. We didn't know if we needed to stay. So I guess we just ended up sticking around and talking. And my husband is very, very good at making a conversation not about him. He will ask you a bunch of questions just to get to know you. And he was asking me questions about my life and my interests and things. And I still really didn't think much of it. I thought that he was really nice. But to be honest, a lot of guys at the church that I was going to were nice, were genuinely nice. And I just thought nothing of it. So after church that night, I went home, and one of the next few days, his profile popped up on Instagram, so I followed him. And I'm honestly, I truly thought nothing of him. I didn't really have like an initial interest. I would follow a bunch of the people at my church at the time because I would have been 21. I was 21 years old, and I was just trying to make friends. At that point, I had only been going to that church for a little over a year, and I was just trying to meet people and make friends. So I would follow like anyone that I met at the church, and he followed me back. And I remember it was about a week later, and he DM'd me on Instagram, and he told me that he was looking at a video on YouTube about a musical, because when we were at the church and we were chatting, I had told him that one of my interests and one of the reasons that I was on the worship team and everything is because I love singing and I love musicals. I love all things music, which is true. I still love musicals. And he told me that he was watching a video of the musical The Color Purple. If you've ever heard of that musical, it is such a beautiful story. It's a wonderful musical. And I was talking to him about that. So he, I guess, looked it up on YouTube, and he was watching a video, and he DM'd me about it. Sorry if I'm kind of all over the place while talking about this. I did not write down any talking points, so I might be a little bit scattered while I'm remembering the backstory. So we messaged back and forth a little bit, and I think I kind of kept the conversation going, which is kind of not like me. Well, it depends. this point in 2020, it was like the end of 2020, I had been kind of trying to talk to people, but not really. Like, I never went on any dating apps or did anything like that. So I had very, very minimal experience with talking to guys on a non-friend level. So I guess I just had a good feeling about my husband, because I definitely instigated the conversation and kept up with the conversation. But a big factor into the beginning of our friendship, I guess, is that I had COVID at this time. So I think that the day that he had reached out to me about the musical, I was on like day 2 or day 3 of having COVID. So I had been living with my sister and our best friend at that time. So I was doing a lot of staying in my bedroom and not talking to anyone, or I would only talk to my sister or my roommate from the hallway. We were all staying in our own rooms and not hanging out because I didn't want to get them sick. So when he started to message me, I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. I have somebody to talk to. So I texted him like every single day, every day. And he responded. So we would talk late into the night, like all day and all night. And when I look back at it and when I talk to my husband about it, he's like, I would not have done this. Like, he normally would not have texted someone all day long the way that I texted him, which is valid. I probably normally would not have done this, but I must have just like found him to be interesting and charming, and I guess I just enjoyed talking to him. So anyway, we talked just over DM for a while. We only DM'd, and then at some point I asked for his phone number and we started texting instead of DMing. I should go back and reread my Instagram conversations with him. That would be really fun to look back at. I did not go back and reread any of it before recording this video, but that would probably be quite funny to reread. So, after a while of just talking on Instagram, I was like, okay, when are you gonna ask me to hang out? Like, come on, man. But I actually kind of instigated our first hangout as well. Our church did a young adults group. So they had the youth group, and then they had the young adults, and then they just had the normal adult part of the congregation. But our young adults group was doing a get together, and I was like, hey, are you gonna be there? Like, are you gonna come hang out with me, basically? So we did. We went to this young adults group, and then afterwards I was like, do you want to drive around and hang out for a little bit? And we ended up driving around for 5 hours. 5 hours. The event started at 7, and then it ended at 9, I think. And we drove around late into the morning, just talking. And mind you, this was on a Thursday night, so then we both had to work on Friday. But we still just hung out and talked. And when I tell you, he was the easiest person that I had ever talked to. That was like such a good sign in my heart that, like, okay, maybe this could be something. This must have been in November of 2020, and we just talked and hung out mainly at church for the next few weeks. And then shortly after, like I said, we met October either 28th or 29th, and on December 15th, so about a month and a half later, like I'm telling you, we barely knew each other. He asked me to be his girlfriend on December 15th of 2020. And that was such a funny night. So we had been at church and we went to get McDonald's after church. We went to get McDonald's and we would just hang out in the church parking lot and talk and get to know each other as you do. And I remember I was eating some chicken nuggets in our church parking lot, and he asked me to be his girlfriend. So it was just so casual and laid back, which honestly is like the best thing ever in my opinion. When it comes to relationship things, I am very laid back and I like things to be casual and easy. I don't want things to be a big scene. So that was like my perfect way of getting asked to be his girlfriend. And I mean, I know, and I'm sure you guys are going to comment, that our relationship went very quickly. It did. I don't know if I would recommend that to everyone, but it definitely worked for us. And I will mention that I personally only date with the intention to marry. That's why I only had one boyfriend before this, and why he broke up with me. Now looking back, I'm so glad that that relationship ended, because the relationship that I have now is worlds beyond what I could have ever imagined. My husband is my favorite person in the whole entire world, so I can't imagine it going any other way or being with any other person. But I also, I realized that only knowing someone for a month and a half before dating them does not always lead to marriage. I am very lucky at how our relationship turned out. I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. But yeah, so we started dating in December, and yeah, we just, had your normal dating relationship. And I will say that my husband and I had a lot of learning to do through our dating relationship. We had a lot of arguments, and there were many moments that either of us did not know if it was going to work out. I'm just being completely honest. And, I think that if we didn't start dating as soon as we did, maybe we wouldn't have gotten married, because we did have a lot of arguments that we really had to work through together to figure out. And we might have just called it quits if we didn't already commit to each other, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. We had a lot of growth to do during our dating phase, and looking back, I would not have it any other way. If you've ever heard couples talk about their first year of marriage, having lots of arguments, lots of fighting, and just kind of being hard, we went through that in our dating phase. So then by the time we got married, our marriage has been delightful the whole time. We have maybe fought twice since being married. I would say in the last 3 years, we've probably, only fought like 2, maybe 3 times. So I'm really glad that we worked through a lot of our issues during our dating phase. But we also had a lot of fun moments and a lot of fun times. So we dated until March of 2022 when he proposed. My husband proposed on March 17th of 2022. We've got the engagement ring. So this is what he proposed with. We went ring shopping in June of 2021. So when we were dating for 6 months, we went wedding ring shopping, and I picked out this wedding ring. He picked out the center diamond because he wanted it to be perfect, which was very sweet. But I picked out the style and the setting and all of that stuff. I really love the circle with the halo design. It just feels classic to me, and I just love how sparkly it is. But we went ring shopping 6 months into our dating relationship. Again, we moved things pretty quickly. So I knew that we both wanted to be married at some point. I just didn't know when. And I will say that I was pretty impatient. I always wanted to know, like, what is your timeline? I didn't need to know the exact date or the exact month. I just wanted to know, like, is it going to be 2022, 2023? Are you trying to wait until 2025? Like, what's the vibe here? How long am I going to be a girlfriend instead of a fiance? So I was definitely impatient. I'm not even gonna lie. At that point, I would have been 21, right? Yeah, March of 2022. I was 21 years old. So I was very young and naive and had no idea about adult life, But he would have been, I think he was either 26 or 27. I honestly can't even remember. But I was just like, come on, man, like, get with the program, marry me already. And I can admit that I definitely pushed him to propose probably before he was actually ready. So I do kind of regret that, because I wish that I would have been more trusting and able to allow him to do things on his timeline. So I admit that I was very impatient. But again, I think everything worked out exactly how God had planned for it to work out. So I'm thankful for everything. So anyway, on March 17th, 2022, he proposed to me at our church. So it was a different location than he asked me to be his girlfriend, but it was still at the church that we were attending at that time. And that was the craziest night of my life. So we were leaving for Disney World the next day, and I assumed that he was going to propose in Disney World. Of course, right? But he did not want to make it that obvious. So he planned to ask me at the event that our church was hosting. It was like a women's night where all the girls would get together, and there would be a worship session and a church sermon, and then it would just be kind of a girls' night. So my sister was really pushing me to go to this women's event, and I did not want to go. I'm like, I need to pack. I need to get ready and then I need to go to sleep. I don't want to be out late at night. I don't even really want to go to this event. Like, I did not want to be there. And then my sister told me that someone needed our help with something. One of our friends, she was like, so-and-so needs our help setting up for this part of the event. And I was like, okay, like, I'm sure there's someone else that can help her. I really, truly did not want to go. But eventually my sister got me to go. And let me tell you guys, I was in a sweatshirt, like a cut-off sweatshirt. I was in jeans and some Air Force Ones. I was not dressed cute. My hair was back in a ponytail. Thankfully, my nails were done for the Disney trip. But I'm like, I do not look cute. I do not feel cute. I just want to go to this event and then go home. So I walked in the front door and my husband, well, at the time, my boyfriend, comes up behind me and gave me a hug around my back. And I was like, what the heck are you doing? Like, he never did that. I'm like, what is going on? And he's looking very suspicious. And my mom was smiling, and my sister, like, kind of walked away from my husband and I, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on? So he grabs me by the hand, and by that point, I knew what was going on. The moment that he grabbed me by the hand, I knew, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is a joke. You've got to be kidding me. So he pulls me to the center, and at this point, they had not yet opened the auditorium doors. So there's like hundreds of women in the lobby area of our church. And I couldn't even hear him. I don't know what he said to me. Like, today, I could not tell you what words came out of his mouth. I do not remember any of it. But I just remember he got down on one knee and he was saying some really sweet, really thoughtful things to me. Like I said, I don't remember what, but he was being very sweet and thoughtful. And then he proposed. And I was like, what is going on? Of course, I said yes. And he, put the ring on my finger. But then the women's event started. And I was like, I guess I'm gonna go watch the women's event. I don't know. And he actually needed to go to Walmart to buy something for our trip the next day. So he ended up leaving the church. I'm in there shocked that I have this wedding ring on my finger. And sorry, I just got cut off. So I think I was saying that he ended up leaving to go to the store. I'm sitting in our church watching the sermon, but I have no idea what they were talking about because I was too distracted by being proposed to. And we didn't even really get to celebrate that night because he had to go to his apartment. I had to go to my townhouse that we were living in to finish getting packed and getting ready for our trip the next day. So it was so crazy. I was like FaceTiming my best friend. I was showing my other best friend that I lived with at the time and just telling all the people around me. We did end up posting something on Instagram because one of the pastors at the church that we were at posted about it before I got the chance to. Like, who does that? So she had posted about it. So that meant that I had to post about it because, like, I can't just let her post be the one that announces that we were engaged. So we took this, like, dark, grainy picture in the church auditorium, and I posted that to announce our engagement, and oh my gosh, like just the craziest night ever. And honestly, I think if my husband could redo it, he probably would have. And we probably would not have gotten proposed in our church. He did have some other plans that he was thinking about, but I think he just got a little bit overwhelmed at which option to go with. So he ended up proposing at our church, and like I've said with other parts of our relationship, I would not change any of it. And I'm, it's a funny story to look back on. It just wasn't quite your normal picture perfect moment. It was very overwhelming, and there were so many people around that we did not know that saw it happen. And I think it would have been nice if it was a little bit more intimate and quiet, but again, I would not change anything. And yeah, so the next day we flew to Florida, and we spent the next few days in Disney World and in Florida. So that was really fun and really special to celebrate our engagement with a few days of just hanging out together. It was our first trip together that we had ever been on, and it was wonderful and so much fun. And now you guys hear me talk about Disney all the time because I love Disney World and my husband loves Disney. So, you can see the Disney necklace, but that trip was the trip that really created our love for Disney and made us Disney adults. So then over the next few months, we looked for a wedding venue, and we just prepped for the wedding. We did a lot of the wedding planning ourselves. We did not have a wedding planner, and my husband really wanted to be very involved, which I'm so thankful for, because I know a lot of men don't care quite as much about the wedding day as the woman does. So for quite a few weddings, at least like my friends and people that I know, the bride ended up doing a lot of the wedding planning, but my husband helped out so much. So our wedding day ended up being a really just a combination of both of us, and I love that. So I designed the wedding invitations, but he helped me pick out the colors and the style. We picked out the flowers that we were going to use. We just ordered some on Etsy, and that way we didn't have to worry about live flowers or anything like that on the day of. We picked out the colors of the dresses and the ties that our parents and our bridesmaids and groomsmen were gonna wear. We just did all of it together. We picked out the music that we were gonna have together. It was very meaningful to me that he was so into it and wanted to be part of all of the details. So we ended up getting married on October 16th of 2022. So we were only engaged from March until October, which, what is that? 7 months? 6 months? 6 months, right? Yeah. So we had a very, very short engagement, but kind of going back to what I was saying earlier, in my opinion, we were dating in order to get married. We did not live together before being married or anything like that. So I didn't want the engagement to be super long, and quite honestly, I didn't want us to deal with any temptation in the dating or engagement season of our life. So to me, it was just important for us to be married and start our life together. So we started dating December of 2020. We got engaged March of 2022, and we got married in October of 2022. So it was a quick season of life, but I wouldn't change it for the world. Our wedding day was wonderful. We had a small-ish wedding. I think we had between 90 to 100 people. It was like 95 or 96, something like that. And it was on a Sunday evening, so it was over by like 9:30, which for me was great. I did not want to be partying all night. I am not a partier, so I was content with it being over pretty early. And we got time to talk to every single person that attended our wedding. We got to say a little thank you speech, and I don't know, I just felt like we really got to enjoy the people at our wedding, and I know that that's not the case for everyone. It was just so sweet and intimate and lovely, and yeah, I really enjoyed our wedding day. So we got married, and then we had our honeymoon in Tennessee, which was so random, but we just wanted something that was very chill, and because it was in October, we thought that Tennessee would be beautiful and have all of the fall leaves changing and just be relaxing, and we could go and kind of unwind and not be on our phones but just hang out together. And that is exactly what we did. It was so gorgeous. The leaves were bright orange and red and yellow. It was like, I'm telling you, honeymoon or not, you all should go. If you have the chance, you should go to Tennessee in the fall because it was stunning. So I'm trying to think of some of the big moments of our marriage after that. Obviously we had our first, Christmas as a married couple, and all of the holidays and the things that you get to enjoy together. We lived in an apartment for the first 2 years of our marriage. So he moved in like late August, early September, and then I did not move in until our wedding night was the first night that I slept in our apartment. I had been moving my belongings over and like organizing things, but I did not want to sleep there until we were married. So that was really fun and cool. And then, let's see, I don't know, I feel like we didn't have any huge, exciting things come up until last year, 2025. We bought this condo that we live in now. So we went from living in our apartment for 2 years to moving into this condo, which has been such a cool part of life because, with the apartment, we were able to celebrate our first Christmas and decorate for Christmas. We were able to, have friends over for dinners and stuff. It was really sweet in the apartment, but the condo, really, we got to decorate it. We got to repaint this room to be a fun green color. We have been able to really decorate it and make it our own. And that is something special about owning your home versus renting that we have gotten to experience. And last year we got to go to Disney again. We celebrated our 2-year anniversary in Disney. Technically it wasn't our exact 2-year anniversary, but it was October of last year that we got to spend in Disney World. Let's see, what else have we done? We have been paying off our debt. I know I've talked about that a lot in my videos, but we had some debt that we did not start paying off until this year, 2025, and we are almost done paying it off. which is crazy. We did the Dave Ramsey Financial Peace University, if any of you know what that is, and we have been really rapidly paying that. So it's been an awesome journey of coming together with our finances and working as a team to build a budget and hold each other accountable to sticking to that budget, which we have done wonderfully, and I just think we make a really good team when it comes to stuff like that. So now to watch the debt dwindle away and become less and less is so cool. So we are going to be debt free in the next couple of months, and then we get to start saving money so that if we want to have kids in the next few years, we will have savings for that. We also want to save up for our third Disney trip. So we're just actively planning and saving for that. I don't know, it's just so cool. Last year we hosted Thanksgiving for the first time, and we really decked out our condo for Christmas time. I don't know, it's just so cool because even though we barely knew each other when we started dating, over the last almost 5 years of knowing each other, we have just grown together so much. And I have a friend at work who I talk to about my husband in great ways. I just share any celebrations that I have with her, and she will share with me about her family. And I was telling her one day, I was like, I just feel like the more that I get to know my husband, the more I'm obsessed with who he is. And I don't mean that in a creepy way. He's my best friend and my, partner in life. And I just feel like I never could have guessed that I would still be falling more and more in love with him 5 years later. And it's just such a cool feeling. I remember when I don't think we were dating yet. So it must have been November of 2020. We were driving around and talking. That is what we would do all the time. We would just drive around and talk for hours. And I remember one night he was like, "Do you think you could love me?" And I immediately said yes. And I think that kind of solidified it for both of us because of how quick my reaction was. I just knew, yes, I absolutely could love you, and I do love you. I just, wasn't in the mindset necessarily to say it to him yet. But when he asked, I was automatically like, yes, I could love you. And I still am falling more and more in love with him every day. He is such a hard worker. He is so passionate about anything that he puts his mind to. If he wants to do something, if he wants to learn something new, he will learn it. He will figure it out. If we together have a problem, whether it be in our marriage, with our finances, with one of our cars or something in our house, he is a problem solver. He will figure out how to do it, or if he can't figure it out, he will contact someone to help figure it out. And he's such a great listener. He will, if we go hang out with someone and they tell us a story and then we see them 3 months later, he will bring up a small detail that they shared with us because he is such an attentive listener and truly cares about people. He's so sweet and kind and thoughtful, and I'm just so incredibly blessed to have a partner that I get excited to do life with. I was talking about finances with our budget, but thinking back when we first got married, I remember finances were scary to me because I kind of felt like I was pretty solid with my own finances, so it's always scary to combine that with someone else. But now I get so excited to talk about finances with him. I get excited because we have good communication and we are on the same wavelength. So we're able to create financial goals together and have dreams together. We have dreams of, saving up money, saving money for trips, saving money for a new house, new car. We love to drive around and look at the neighborhoods around where we live. We really love where we live. So we always just look at the different houses and dream about one day living in a house and what we want in our future home. And we talk about, having kids and traveling and all of the fun goals together. But we also push each other on the simple things. Like, I personally have never been more in tune with my body. Like, when it comes to working out and being healthy, I kind of always feared being healthy because I never quite knew how, if that makes sense. And I've learned so much from him, and he encourages me when it comes to working out and making healthy choices, but he also doesn't pressure me or make me feel bad or feel guilty about anything. He just makes me feel comfortable in who I am, and he encourages me with my ASMR channel. He encourages me with my hobbies, with the things that I enjoy. And I just feel like it is so special to have a relationship like the relationship that I have. So it really makes the hard things easier, and it makes the easy things great and even better than I could have imagined. It makes the mundane tasks like grocery shopping or going to, run errands and things like that. It makes it fun when you get to do it with your best friend. I love hanging out with him. I love talking to him. And on top of all of this, let me not skim over the main foundation of our relationship is God. And we are able to pray together. We tithe together. We put God in the middle of our praises and our, when we're worrying, when we're scared, when we are trying to figure out a solution, we always turn back to God. And above all of the traveling, above the financial goals, above all of that is God. And having someone that prays for you and prays with you is just, it's something that I never could have imagined, but now I'm living it, and I'm so blessed, so thankful. And I truly think that this relationship was given to us by God, and I couldn't imagine anything else. So now that I have yapped on for way longer than I thought I would, I will wrap this up. I don't know. I can't think of any other points. I'm sure there are other big things that we have enjoyed and celebrated together, but those are the main things that I could think of off of the top of my head. Basically, to summarize it all, I met my husband. We started dating right away. We got married not long after, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm so blessed that it worked out. I do realize that it doesn't work out that easily and that way for everyone. It is such a blessing, and it really does take that commitment. Neither of us were necessarily looking for a relationship, so I think that when we found each other, we were both in a place where we could commit 100%, and that is important. And I'm so, so thankful that it worked out the way that it did. And yeah, I really thank God every day for my husband. He is my favorite person on the planet, and I'm so, so very grateful, thankful, blessed, all the things. Yeah, let me not continue yapping. I said that I was going to wrap this up, so I need to wrap it up. Thank you guys if you stuck around and listened, and I hope that you all have someone in your life who you love with your whole heart and who loves you with their whole heart, because it is a dream come true. I feel like I'm living all of the Disney fairy tales minus the crazy dramatic parts of it. Well, maybe not. We do have dramatic parts in our relationship too. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this whisper ramble. If you want to join our family, you can click the subscribe button below. If you liked it, give the video a like, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Goodbye. Goodbye.